So the heart is found just left of the center of the body. It's found in a chamber that we call the mediastinum. You've got the apex, which is inferior. You have the base, which is superior. You have 4 chambers. The right and the left atria are covered by structures which we call the auricles. Blood will return to the right atria via the superior and inferior vena cava. If you open it up, you can see on the inside, you can see the auricles. You can see the right atria. Blood will then travel from the right atria through the right atrial ventricular valve, otherwise known as the tricuspid valve, into the left atria. You can see here the heartstrings or the chordae tendineae, which are attached to the papillary muscles. The ventricle will contract, and this will pass blood through the right semilunar valve, otherwise known as the pulmonary semilunar valve, through the pulmonary trunk or pulmonary artery. This will then send blood to the lungs. It'll get oxygenated. The blood will then return to the heart via the pulmonary veins to the left atria. In the left atria, it'll then travel through the left atrial ventricular valve, otherwise known as the bicuspid or mitral valve, into the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it'll then go through the left semilunar valve, otherwise known as the aortic semilunar valve, into the aorta, which is the major artery of the body. You have 3 branches coming off of the aorta. The first one is the right brachiocephalic. The right brachiocephalic will immediately branch off into the right subclavian, which goes into the clavicle, and into the right common carotid. You then have the left common carotid, and then you have the left subclavian, and then you have the descending aorta, which will then turn into the abdominal aorta. Some of the other structures you can see here. So we got the auricles right here. You've got the pectinate muscle, which is found on the inside of the auricles, and then the muscle found in the ventricles is called the trabeculae carnae. That's the muscle that you find there. And then we have the blood vessels that supply blood to the heart. Those would be the coronary arteries. So we've got several coronary arteries. The main one is this one right here, which is called the left anterior descending. This is the major artery that supplies blood to the left ventricle. Blockage or occlusion of this artery can lead to death of tissue, which we call a myocardial infarction or a heart attack. We've got the coronary arteries, which supply blood to the heart tissue, and then we have the coronary veins, which drain the blood from that. That blood will then go back into the right atria, and then the whole thing will start all over again.